Welcome to Recovery Radio with Mr. G, the recovery broker, right here on WEHA, Gospel 88.7 and 99.9 FM, your number one station, where our goal is to help save a life in a world plagued by drugs, alcohol, suicide, depression, and addiction.
Good morning, my listening audience. Welcome to Recovery Life Radio. I'm Mr. G, your recovery broker. Right here on the station for information, 88.7 and 99.9 on the FM dial. We're here to share our experience, strength, and hope. The hope of helping someone who's lost, scared, afraid, addicted, baffled, and confused, to show you that there is a way out. And we would like to bring you information and send you to the proper resources and facilities that help you overcome that which overwhelm you. Today we're going to be sharing with the gentleman about peer-to-peer recovery. Robin, who was our guest for today?
Thank you, Mr. G. Today we have Chris McCumber, and he's coming to us from Hope All Day. And just so you know, we're coming to you from recoveryliferadio.com. All of the broadcasts today will be put onto our website. And if you miss any bit of information that our guest gives you, which will be his email, his contact, his website, no fear. If you go onto our website, all of the contact information will be there, making it very easy for you to utilize these resources. So again, Mr. G, we have Chris McCumber from Hope All Day. And why don't you introduce Chris and tell him about us, Mr. G?
All right. Thank you, Rob. We have the CEO and the founder of Hope All Day. I know him as Chris. Chris, it's really a pleasure to have you here, Chris.
Thank you, Dan.
Yes,
it's great to be here.
I know that's right, Chris. Chris, you know, we think about where the journey of life and the process in which we have been through these many years. And to have you sitting across from me today is absolutely a pleasure and a delight, and I want you to know that. Chris, for the listening audience, who is Hope All Day?
Well, the Hope All Day Recovery Center is a 10,000 square foot peer-to-peer recovery community center, and we provide programs, projects, and services for those struggling with substance abuse. And our goal is to advocate and sustain long-term recovery.
Beautiful. Exactly. What inspired you to begin this journey?
Well, again, I am a person in long-term recovery, and what that means is I haven't had a minor mood-altering substance in 13 years,
I know that's right.
11 months, and 2 days.
Congratulations.
How many minutes, Chris?
Yeah.
Happy about the whole thing, right?
Well, coming from where I come from, and we talk about the Hope All Day, and this is hope. This is being here with you, Candy. This is hope. That's our greatest commodity.
Yes.
It's hope.
Hope, yes. And I'm loving it, Chris. I'm telling you, man. For those people that is out there, listening audience, if you don't think that this thing works, I can testify, and I also have a witness to when you give yourself over and give yourself a chance, there is another way of life. And I'm hoping that our listeners, that we can reach you for you to understand that life is not over, but it's just begun. I thoroughly believe that one of my greatest assets is my past. I'm not afraid of my past. My past is afraid of me today. And I believe that is what I'm looking at in front of me today, looking at you, Chris, because the things you're involved in the community, I'm telling you, man, it just does my heart good to know that, we're on this journey together, reaching out to the surrounding communities and being able to give something back to something that we once destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Because, the reality of it is that people have this stigma that's attached to substance abuse and addiction, that we're going to live and die in our active addiction and we're not going to be able to prosper. And we enter into this state of hopelessness, like there's no solution. And that's the farthest thing from the truth.
Farthest thing from the truth.
Hey, Chris, I have a question for you. I want to go to the Hope All Day Recovery. Where can I find you guys at?
We are at 600 South Odessa Avenue in Galloway, right off of Tilton Road.
Great.
Fantastic. That's a good location, Chris.
Yeah.
I was out there, and the facility was fantastic.
It's beautiful.
I love the facility, man. Chris, what are some of the qualities that make that facility different than others that we're familiar with?
Okay, so I'll give you a little history. In the state of New Jersey, there is actually we are the 4th peer-to-peer recovery community center. And peer-to-peer is basically people in recovery helping people in recovery. And one of the things that separates the Hope All Day Recovery Center from the others is that we don't take no state or federal funding. We are a pure grassroots, selfless service facility that we have a 3-panel board, 2 officers of the corporation, a 10-panel steering committee, 48 volunteers, and nobody gets paid. We're open every day, all day, from 9 to extended hours. We have 16 to 17 12-step meetings that meet at our facility. We have 5 programs of our own. And since our opening last year, May 1st, we have about 1,000 people a week come through our facility.
Fantastic.
Wow.
We're getting anywhere from 2 to 3 people a week into treatment. We have a family program
Beautiful, man.
also.
Beautiful. You know what? With that being said, I don't want the listening audience to have the misconception of thinking that we don't need some type of backing for that program to continue
That's right.
and even to grow.
That's right.
So for my listening audience, if you would like to be a part of making a contribution or a donation to his organization, Rob, would you please give him this information?
Well, I think Chris is going to have the information for his own
You can go to
organization, please.
www.hopeallday.org, and you can click on the donate button and donate. We run solely off of donations, in-kind contributions,
Beautiful.
and fundraising events.
As we do, Mr. G.
Yes.
As we do.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And there's
What comes from the heart reaches the heart.
that's exactly
You
right.
know.
Yes.
And there's plenty of resources out there, and that's what we're doing here on Recovery Life Radio. Again, we're www.Recovery Life Radio, and we're bringing to you, we're hubbing together resources such as Chris's resources for people who just don't know where to go. They don't know these resources are out here.
Exactly.
In these 5 weeks worth of programming, Mr. G, I mean, we've had about a dozen guests on
Yes.
that have given us resources and avenues that I never knew existed. And I mean, from Police Explorers to YAP, and now we have Chris here, and we always have Crossroads that's on our program, which is our sponsor today. And there's just so much out there for people, and it's great to hear the message and what's available.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yes, it is. It's good to have a coalition of people working together for a common purpose.
That's right.
You know, and the beautiful part of this whole thing is, man, Cliff, my desire for this program setting and to be able to do what I do today was to have people such as yourself come on the program and elaborate and explain to people that there is places that you can go get the necessary help that you're needed. For an example, I had just this past week offered this program, Chris, and I know you have testimony of your own facility. I have had 3 people to call in reference to getting into different program settings, whether it was a detox or whatever. I thank God, man, that I have connections through the power of information.
That's right.
To be able to give these people the necessary guidance. You know, of course, we make a way for them. We give them guidance. We make the contact for them.
Right.
It's up to that individual to know that we can do all that we can do for you, but you're going to have to do something for yourself in order for things to change. You know, so that's where your facility come in, Chris.
Yes. I mean, let's face it. There's the truth of the matter. There's a huge heroin epidemic in our
Yes,
country
it is.
today.
Yes.
I believe that the overdose count is just unbelievable. Every time you turn the news on, every time you look at Facebook, every time you look at social media, somebody's family member is posting something about someone a loved one that passed away.
Passed away.
You know, we have a huge responsibility to collaborate together.
Yes.
Shows like this show, agencies like the Hope All Day Recovery Center, some of the stuff that we're doing. I mean, there's so many more advocates out there that are trying to provide resources and avenues for people to get treatment and find treatment.
The help is out there.
The help is out there.
Yes,
Thank
it is.
God.
Hey, Chris, you know, I'm going to want you to tell us a little more about some of the services that your program offers. But before we do that, we're going to take a little station break. Listen, you're listening to Recovery Life Radio. I'm Mr. G, your recovery broker. And we want you guys to stick around and stay right there. We're going to come back with Chris once again, and of course, my right-hand man, Mr. Rob.
That's me here with Hope All
And
Day.
we are going to give you as much information as we reasonably possible and that we can find here in this area, in the Atlantic County area. As Chris has already elaborated on, there's so many things that's going on in our community, in the news, and the internet. We see that this epidemic is running rampant. So stick around. We're going to come right back with you and let Chris expound a little bit more with the experience, strength, and hope. Welcome back, my listening audience. Thank you for being there. Once again, we're going to go to the founder and CEO, Chris. Rob, was there something that you wanted to ask Chris?
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. G. I heard you talking, Chris, from Hope All Day, that there's a peer-to-peer system in place. And most of the time I hear about recovery or people talking to people, I hear about professional psychologists and all psychiatry. And I know that people in addiction sometimes don't react well because they feel like they don't relate. What exactly is peer-to-peer, and how do you feel that process really helps somebody open up and relate to where they're at? Because I think we all want to feel like we're being heard.
Yes, absolutely. And I can only go by my experience. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. You know, being a person in long-term recovery, I got clean, and you know, some of the resources that were available to me was 12-step fellowship. So I did what was suggested. So as a recovering person, and some of the listening audience can tell, 12-step programs work.
Yes,
right?
they do, yes.
We know that. We know
Yes.
treatment programs work. Treatment is education and information.
That's correct.
But we don't recover in treatment. We recover in our communities.
Exactly.
Right? So
Like
after
that,
a lot
Chris.
of years of working in the treatment field, watching the revolving door, people coming and going,
Staying recovered,
you know,
staying clean is hard.
Yeah. So I started, one of the things that I did a lot of, I was a traveling person in recovery. So I went to a lot of different places, and I've seen a lot of different things, all in the name of carrying this message of hope and this promise of freedom that, you know, if you are struggling with a substance use disorder, you can get clean.
Yes.
And not only can you get clean, but you can stay clean.
Stay clean.
That's
And you
it.
can enjoy life, too.
Yes.
So, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? So for a bunch of years, I even went as far as to buy a conversion van. And I would pick up a lot of young people in recovery in the area where I got clean.
God bless you.
And we will go to a lot of different meetings and things of that nature, different clean and sober events, and have fun and, you know, show these kids that there's a life beyond drugs and alcohol.
That's
And not
correct.
only that there's a life beyond the lifestyle, too.
Yes.
Because, you know, there's a stigma that's attached to that lifestyle. You know, because if the drugs don't get you,
That's right, Chris.
sooner or later, the
That's right.
lifestyle
Agreed.
will.
Agreed.
So one of the things that happened for me was I started to see that there was still, even though treatment works and 12-step programs work, there's still a gap in between. Where do they go in between? So if a 19-year-old heroin addict leaves treatment at 9 o'clock in the morning and there's no 12-step meetings and there's no IOP yet, where do they go?
Good question.
So that's the need that I wanted to provide.
I love that, Chris.
I wanted to provide
Yes.
a place all day,
Yes.
every day.
Hope all day.
Hope all day, not
I know
just
that's
an
right.
hour and
I know
a
that's
half.
right, yeah.
You know
All
what I
day,
mean?
yeah.
So some things started to change in my personal life as well, and I started to have a different calling on my life, and I wanted to do something different.
Yes.
And I took a business trip to Florida in 2006, And when I got there, it was a construction-related job, and I had some people that worked for me at the time, and they were struggling with substance abuse. And so I said to my friend, I said, let's go to this 12-step meeting, And we went to this place, and it was this big facility that they had turned into a peer-to-peer recovery center.
Beautiful.
And that's when God plucked my heart, and I knew that something had to be done here in South Jersey. And it took some time. It took a lot of years. I came back, I came back home after that job, and that stuck with me. And then some years later, I ended up opening up a sober living house for a good friend of mine, Jennifer Hansen, who has the Serenity House here in this area. And we opened up a men's house. And I got to interview a bunch of young guys to move into this house. And they came on, and we started going to a lot of meetings. And I developed relationships with some of their parents, which is really, we can, when addicts and alcoholics have an external motivation, legal problems, probation, parole, then they're willing to do some things. But when those external motivations go away, sometimes we forget.
They have some extra time.
They have some extra time. So, something happened along the way, and a few of these kids got thrown out. And I had a conversation with one of the mothers, and she said, Chris, there's no place for these kids to go right now. And I think one of the kids had gotten thrown out of the house. I forget the exact details, but he got thrown out, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And his mom called me, and she said, I'm coming down to pick him up and take him to a meeting. And I said, well, there's no meeting right now.
Hey, Chris, can I say something to you?
Sure.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I actually reflect back on my past. And it was a very lonely journey, because under the lash of that disease, it puts you in a place of loneliness.
Hopeless.
And, hopeless. You feel that way. And you really the disease, the stinking thinking, as I would describe it as, it convinced me that there was nowhere for me to go. Whether I was coming from institutions or a facility, once I had time on the street alone, it was idle time. That was one of my greatest challenges.
Yeah, what do you do in between meetings?
What do you do in between meetings? And for your facility, it is so desperately needed in this area. I wish that you can also expand your facility to the Atlantic City area, because that would be a fantastic thing.
There was some talks of that, so that may be in the future.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
It sounds to me like, Chris, that Hope All Day is almost a recovery clubhouse. I don't want to say anything that's disrespectful, but it sounds like you guys you have the right place, you're doing the right thing with the right people, and for people who did the wrong thing with the wrong place with the wrong people, the outcome was obvious. And it sounds like, again, you're like almost a recovery clubhouse. And as Mr. G said, where do you go where you fit in with people who truly understand you? Hope all day is what I would say.
Hope all day.
All day, every day.
Every day. I like the way he's put the spin to it. It's not all day, it's every day. Yeah. So those of you that's trying to find a solution and you have a problem that you think you can't solve, whether you're court restricted, mandated by whatever process there is, we want you to know that instead of spending time alone on the street without anywhere to go, we want you to go to Hope All Day.
And you can find all these resources at our www.recoveryliferadio.com. And that's what we're trying to do here, guys. We're like the Google for recovery. If you're not sure of the area resources that are available, please use our website. And we have all hyperlinks that'll direct you to Hope All Day and to other resources in the area. We've had some guests on.
Absolutely.
All our guests' information. Chris has provided us with his information for Hope All Day, and he's going to tell you it again at the end. But don't forget, if you're driving in your car, don't grab a pen. We'll have all this stuff on our website for you, so you won't miss a thing. And Mr. G, tell us about Hope All Day. I'd love to hear a story, because we had one last week, and this touched my heart, of how your Hope All Day recovery. I don't want to say recovery house, because I know it's peer-to-peer, but some of the success stories you've had, I'd love to hear them. Mr. G, what do you think?
Listen, before we go into that, Chris, I'm going to let you elaborate on that. I want to share something with you. I had the experience yesterday. I was sharing with you at the pre-show. I was talking to a young man. He must have been about 18 or 19 years of age, and he said to me, I mentioned your name, and I mentioned Hope All Day, and I told him you would be the guest here today, and he said to me, he got excited. He said, oh, Chris, what a powerful message. I said to myself, to myself, not to him. I said to myself, if you only knew why it was so powerful. You know, so you are a true testament to this process working.
Yes, absolutely.
And to hear young people look upon that, they don't know where we come from. They have no idea. You know, they are in the struggle, and we're trying to prevent the pain.
That's right. And I think that if we look at society in general, a lot of these younger kids, they grow up with the idea that drinking and drugging is cool and the lifestyle is fun and all that stuff. And little do they know that later on down the road, getting high and having fun turns into pain and consequence.
That's correct.
You know, then it's no longer fun, and you know, it's a sad place to be.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, you know what? I have a question for you. Is it the judge's fault?
Never.
No. Wait, well, let me put it like this.
Yeah.
It's probation's fault. They did this to me.
I can't believe that cop caught me.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You telling me I'm supposed to do what I want to do when I don't want to do it?
Yeah.
There's no consequences?
And you know, the longer I stay in this recovery thing, and the more work I do on myself, and start to take a look at what we're doing as advocates for recovery. You know, my strong suit is relating to younger people in recovery.
Yes.
So I come from, you know, I have a few things. Recovery's blessed me with a couple Cadillacs, and I got some nice clothes.
You got
and
stuff,
and that
Chris.
can be the
Man, I
attraction.
want to be like you when I grow up.
To younger people in recovery, because they think that, I mean, could you imagine? You couldn't tell me when I was 19 years old that I needed to stay clean and sober for the rest of my life without going to the bar when I was 21.
That's right.
I mean, now these kids are 19-year-old IV heroin. The bottoms come up way faster than my
Way
bottom
faster,
ever came
yes.
up. You know, you couldn't tell me that. I wasn't open to it, you know. But now, today, my goal is if we can make recovery cool
Yes.
Yeah.
for younger kids, then they'll
Loving
want to
it.
stay.
Yes, I'm loving it.
If we can make it so there's dances and clean and sober activities, we have open mic nights, we do dance parties, we do guitar night, we do open mic night. You know, these are some of the things that we make available. We have horseshoe tournaments, volleyball tournaments.
Clean fun.
Clean fun. We have a 3.5-mile cart path. You can come and bring your bike. You can take a walk. You know, you could take a bike ride. And these are all things that create a sense of healthy well-being.
Yes.
You know, and that's the kind of stuff that some of these younger kids need to know that they can do.
Chris, that's beautiful. Rob, tell the listening audience exactly how they can contact us once again.
Absolutely. We are www.recoveryliferadio.com. And unlike Chris, we don't have a whole bunch of Cadillacs laying around. So if you want to make a donation to keep this show on the air,
Give him my
I
address,
want to give
Rob.
you Mr. G's information. 'Cause you can send us a Cadillac, too. You can send us a couple bucks to keep our airtime on.
Yes,
Deliverance of Truth is who you're going to send that donation to. That's at P.O. Box 51, and that's in Atlantic City, New Jersey, 08401. And again, we have a donation section on our website, so if you miss any of this information, don't worry. And, you know, we're going to take Chris's Cadillac otherwise and pawn that. You know, Chris, I understand and appreciate you told us, and you might want to talk about when we come back from a break, but you had a Hope Fest 2015. Mr. G, what was that Hope Fest?
Well, we're going to hold on to that Hope Fest for a minute and thought. Chris, right now what we want to do, we want to recognize our sponsor. I'm so glad to have Crossroads right here in Egg Harbor Township.
Mike DeMarco, my man.
Mr. Mike
Yes,
DeMarco as
yes.
a sponsor because he's the one that brought us together.
Yes.
You know, he does a lot back there, and he's also doing a lot for
Great
me here on the
program.
station. Yes,
Great
it is.
program.
So my listening audience, stay tuned to us. We're going to come right back once again with the CEO of Hope All Day, Mr. Chris.
Know someone with a drug problem? Do you feel as if you are alone and there is no solution to your problem? There is help for you. Tune in to Recovery Life Radio with Mr. G every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on Gospel 88.7 FM WEHA.
Imagine all the stress and burnout you feel were replaced with natural, reliable peace and calm. Imagine you could trade in the pill that gets you through your day for real wellness. Now imagine how you get there. A peaceful place where individualized treatment and professional care help you feel like yourself again.
Behavioral Crossroads Outpatient Detox. Call us at 877-645-2502 or behavioralcrossroads.com.
Imagine all the stress and burnout you feel were replaced with natural, reliable peace and calm. Imagine you could trade in the pill that gets you through your day for real wellness. Now imagine how you get there. A peaceful place where individualized treatment and professional care help you feel like yourself again.
Behavioral Crossroads Outpatient Detox. Call us at 877-645-2502 or behavioralcrossroads.com.